The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Rapid Sales Accelerator. If you're ready to skyrocket your sales by 30% or more in just 90 days, then you need to claim your free training right now. You'll learn 4 words that will compel your prospects to trust you like they were children within the first 3 to 5 minutes of any conversation across any platform and any medium. You'll learn how to give your prospects objection amnesia, to crush objections like, I need to talk to my spouse, or I need more time to think it over, or it's too expensive. If you'd like to claim your free training now, go to www.paulrossbook.com. Do it before your competition does it now. Welcome to the Influencer's Edge. This is the place where you come to get the latest breakthroughs, cutting-edge insights, tools, and techniques to leapfrog over the pack in sales, persuasion, and influence. Be sure you visit our website at www.theinfluencersedge.com. And while you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, tune in, and enjoy today's episode. All right, welcome back to the Influencer's Edge. Transparently, I had no offense to you, I had a blonde moment, a Biden moment, and totally forgot to record. This is our second bite at the apple with my wonderful guest, Jackie Carroll. She's been so gracious with me. So welcome to the Influencer's Edge. I'm a little emotional this morning, ladies and gentlemen. A dear friend of mine just delivered her baby by C-section, 8 pounds, 11 ounces. And I'm always moved when I see a newborn life. So we'll put that aside as best we can and get back to being the obnoxious, cynical, hard-boiled monster that I am. Okay, so let's dive in. So
Paul, sorry, I was going to say thank you for having me again, Paul. Second time lucky.
Well, it's only because of the accent. So Jackie Carroll is a career and mindset coach who helps people reset their careers and lives with clarity, confidence, and purpose. I love that. Clarity, confidence, and purpose. How do you define purpose? What does that mean? It's such a broad term, and people use it for different. Like my mom used to say, now you spilled that milk on purpose. So, and then I'd get a nice left hand. She had a wicked left jab that Muhammad Ali would envy, or Mike Tyson. So,
yeah. So purpose, I suppose, Paul, purpose can mean, different things to different people. But purpose in terms of having life as a purpose and living on purpose is intentional. So it's being intentional with your God-given talents and strengths and what we essentially are really, really good at and the value that we add to this world. And that to me is when I'm working with clients, when we're looking for their purpose, we do that intentionally to find out what their intention is to bring to this earth and at the time that they're here. Yeah.
One of the things that occurs to me is oftentimes people's intention is sort of twisted by their desire to control, their desire to have things that actually doesn't bring them lasting happiness. This comes from, I'm more and more getting into my Buddhist practice because it's genuinely softened my heart. As you can see, I'm a soft man. And it's helping me let go of the need to control everything and everyone around me. And that said, I have worked with people and seen they get what they want and it destroys their life. So in that process of helping people find their purpose, what is the process of discernment so they don't get misaligned with something that's actually going to harm them in the end?
Yeah, it's understanding what their values are. So really that's one of the most important things. And when people become misaligned, whether it's in their career, whether it's in their life, you generally find that they're not true to their values or they're not leading with, they might feel that that is the intention if they are to do X, Y, and Z, but if it doesn't align with their values and who they are, to the core, then you get that misalignment. And then sometimes they can go off the track, and then you're talking about intentionally maybe harming, and I don't think that it's an intentional thing. I think maybe sometimes the ego then takes over, where they feel like they need to get ahead for some whatever reason, but it's not aligning to the values and who they truly are. And I think that's when that happens.
Here's something that occurs to me too in a
Mm.
moment of clarity as I'm sitting here. What's the distinction between values and goals? Because so many people get that screwed up. How do you
Mm.
define the difference, set the distinction between values and goals?
That is such a good question, and I have to think about how I'm going to answer this, just so that it's such a good question. So goals, what people feel goals are essentially a destination. So it's setting out goals. If you're wanting to reach a certain point in your life, or you're wanting to achieve a certain milestone or achieve something, that is a particular goal. Where a value is what you stand for. So if you can say, example, value could be you're an honest person, or your value is connection. So if, let's say, I'll give you an example from my side. My goal is to have a very successful coaching business where I make an impact. My value is connection. So I use my values to achieve those goals. So the goal is the destination, the values are the vehicle to get you to that destination.
I perfectly am in alignment with that. So, what is your process? If you don't mind giving away some of your secret sauce, so to
Yeah.
speak, what is your process of helping your clients find what their values are so they can be aligned with their purpose?
Uh, I think it's understanding. It's first, it's asking the right questions, Paul. Like, because people, they go, "Oh yeah, my values. What exactly are my values?" And some people have no idea whatsoever. And then it's really asking them, well, what is most important to you? So, and as an example would be, if, let's say, somebody says, I value health, but yet they don't do the certain things that align with that. So really, is that value of importance? Because if your value is important to you, you will make sure that that happens. So it's asking those questions. Let's talk about certain things that you do, that a lot that make you have you been in certain situations, as an example, that have allowed you, where you've had to make a decision on X and X. But it's asking the different questions, and everybody is totally different. And it could be a sense of, one question I love talking with my clients, and this really is understanding what their loves are. And it starts them thinking, if you were to win the lotto this weekend, and the money, there was no money, was no object, you gave money to your friends and family, you went traveling for a year or whatever that was, and now you're sitting down at home and you're saying, okay, what am I going to do with myself for the rest of my life? What does that look like for you? And what happens is people start going into this almost dreamlike state, where they don't have these financial constraints or societal constraints on them, and they start to dream a little bit. And in those dreams, they start to discover a little bit of who they are to the core, and where their loves lie. And with those loves, the values start to surface, which is it's a beautiful exercise to do. But
Gonna say,
it's yeah, it's being a little childlike and saying, let's have a game.
you've been doing this a good chunk of time. Do you get emotional when you do this and see people connect with their dreams?
Yes.
Yeah.
Emotional in the sense of, it's you know what it's just it's such a it's a high for me, Paul, because, like, when you see that connection and you see people break through those barriers and have those aha moments, it solidifies my purpose and why I'm here. And it's almost like there's this heart connection, where the heart opens up, and in that moment, it's my value top connection. Like, I'm so connected to that person,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yes. It's funny. If you ask me my values, I could tell you contribution, connection, communication, creativity. Those are
Yeah.
the top four. And there's a beautiful book called The Happiness Trap that helps you see the, I don't know if you've heard of it or not. It's a really great little book.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't, but I'm going to go and have a look at it now.
It's a wonderful book that has a process and makes the distinction between goals and values. And if your value is connection, let's say you want to get married, you can find connection all along the way. So you're
Yeah.
happy before you even get that goal. So the
Yeah.
goal is not really be married. The goal is to have the connection or whatever it is you get from that. So
Yeah.
it's a beautiful, beautiful distinction. And I think you're doing something super beautiful for the world at large. And I'll tell you why. This is just
Mhm.
my contribution here.
Yeah.
Here, if you go on Instagram, you see it's instant gratification, fame, showing off how popular you are with an
Mhm.
attention span of maybe 30 seconds, totally about getting material stuff. And so I think putting people back in touch with that really ensures that I'm assuming your clients are entrepreneurs mostly.
It is a mix. A lot of them are working professionals, but there's some who are working professionals moving into the entrepreneurial space, but then there are entrepreneurs as well. So there is a bit of a mix.
Do they ever come to you for burnout? I know the answer to that.
Yes. Yes. But you see, that's also interesting because not a lot of them know they're in burnout until we have a few sessions, and it's very, very interesting. Yeah. And really, burnout, people just one of the biggest things to burnout is understanding what your boundaries are and putting those boundaries down. And
Help me
if your bound
understand that. Help, that's a good one. I never heard that before. Help me understand. I've never heard that before.
boundaries, putting boundaries in place.
Well, I know I know from a healthy psychological, emotional perspective, but in terms of your profession, what does that
Uh,
even mean?
So it's really understanding what work-life balance looks like for you as an individual. And this even goes for entrepreneurs. So people who own their own businesses, because what and those actually are the ones that are they don't really have the work-life balance in place. And they will work, 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 work because they love what they do so much and they feel, that they success loves speed and we've got to do this, we've got to do that. But putting your boundaries down, saying, I'm going to separate my work life with my home life and my health life because we have to have that balance. Because if you're not healthy, surely wealth doesn't mean anything, as an example. And if you don't have your family to back and support you and have those loved ones, well then sure, why are you creating that wealth and why would you have health anyway? So I think there's a real balance there. And what a lot of people do is they don't allow the time and space and almost have like hubs for each of them. So when I'm at work, I 100% focus and I give my 100% all to work. When I'm with my family, I need to shut work off and give
Yes,
100% of my intention and
yes,
time to family. And when I'm going to gym and I'm doing my health and in yoga and doing meditation, then I have to give my 100% all to that. So putting those boundaries in place where that doesn't cross over, because then you're only giving 80% of it to this or 60% of it to that. And if you truly want to be a high performer in every single aspect of your life, you've got to put those boundaries down and they can't
I get
cross.
it. I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. I'm just thinking about this because a very dear friend of mine who runs the cat rescue place where I got my two babies, one of them is asleep in the sun, of course.
Uh,
She told me I had a breakfast with her, and she said, I have lost my passion for everything. I've lost my passion when I started the cat rescue 7 years ago. It was all I wanted to do, and now I'm just burned out on it. I would rather give it
mm,
to someone else to do. So I think some people just are so devoted to the mission, and you tell me what you think, that they just have no energy left for themselves. They just don't, and that's where the boundaries come in.
boundaries. Yeah.
So how would that
Yeah.
explain where she had it in the beginning, and
Mm,
then and now she just because I don't think her I don't know. How would you explain people who have a mission and they're so fired up? She put her savings, her life
yeah.
savings into creating this not
Yeah.
nonprofit, and now
Yeah.
she doesn't even want to touch it.
Yeah. When she started with her mission, right, she would have had a very full cup. and a full cup of enthusiasm, a full cup of energy, a cup of life and purpose. And obviously that aligned with her values and everything. So she has a full cup. But over time, she's been pouring her cup into her mission and into this vision and into, her the purpose that she was having at that particular point in time. And if she didn't stop to tip the cup back up, and this is where the boundaries come in, and have time to refill that cup, she's going to be pouring, pouring, pouring until the cup is completely empty. And you can no longer pour from a cup that is empty.
You're right. And she did not
Mm,
take care. She was so stressed. She's lost 40 pounds. She's so beautiful. My brain was going, ga, ga, ga. Well, I was trying to hold on an intelligent conversation. I've known her for years. Yeah, she
yeah.
did take care of her stress, and she looks great, but I'm sure it hurt her health. Let me move
Yeah.
on. I love these conversations. All right. So you had a virtual reality startup. You got to tell
Yes.
us a little bit more about VR. When was this?
Ooh, when did I start VR? Okay, so VR, the idea came to me, I think it was 2015 was when the initial idea first started. So the virtual reality startup was a little thing called Genie in a headset. And Genie in a headset was essentially a place where people could come and create their visualizations and their vision boards in virtual reality. So not only could you just have a picture of your vision board, you could actually step into and experience what it would be like to have those
I'm
visions
there.
achieved.
How do I buy a piece of the company? First of all, how do I get how do I get one of the headsets? And second, how do I get a piece of the company? I love it. What
Thanks,
happened?
Paul.
What the bloody hell happened?
AI happened.
I knew
So what happened? We were, and it was amazing because we were at the bottom and VR was amazing. I mean, with Meta and, they put all into Meta and Meta was going to be this next big thing and virtual reality was coming down the line. But its quiet cousin AI was sitting, and we were just about to get to the finish line, AI just came and took out VR. And that's essentially what happened. So we got first round raising. We were making, we were, I'd say, about a quarter of the way there to realizing this product, and this was going to be my impact to the world in terms of how I was going to help people.
Wow, how
But
heartbreaking.
isn't it interesting that because of that and that failed, I am now in coaching and still creating that impact and the connection, but in a different way.
Hey, I got it. I failed as a comedy
Yeah.
writer. I wrote one of the worst movies ever made. At least it got made. And I had a snappy moment and went, this dream is dead. I literally
Yeah.
snapped in the theater. I saw a white light and felt the snapping in my head. But it led to
Yeah.
this. So
Yeah.
totally get it. I'm thinking about an analogy for what you went through. I'm thinking about someone about to open a chain of video stores to compete with Blockbuster, and they have some competitive advantage they think they do. And then they're pouring all their money and they're doing really well. And along comes this little thing called Netflix.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So, but everything is, sometimes when some of the most catastrophic things happen in your life that you think your life is now, what am I going to do here? Is when it actually leads you onto the path that you're meant to be on. And sometimes in that moment, you don't realize it. But as Steve Jobs always used to say, you can connect the dots looking back, never forward. And it's so easy to see how certain things happen in your life to allow you to be where you are at that present point. But you can never, ever look forward saying, okay, how's that going to work? You just can't. So it's brilliant.
I'm going to botch the quote, but
Yeah.
someone said life is a classroom and the teacher doesn't speak while the test is taking place.
I
and you
like that.
and you don't get the lesson until uh after you've made given all your answers, and they're going
Yeah.
most of them are going to be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm botching I'm botching the quote. So you had this startup, it crashed and burned. It must have
Mhm.
really just, I don't want to use the word, but I can't, it must have really knocked you on your ass emotionally. How long did you go into a depression?
I wouldn't say, would I say it's a depression? It was almost like It's what I call a coming to Jesus moment, where it's like, OMG, now what? And there was a real sense of realization, because it wasn't, to me, it wasn't just about the failure of not being able to get this dream out there, but I had raised first round funding. And I think, for me, it wasn't that I just disappointed myself. It was I disappointed all of those investors as
Right.
well.
Totally
And
get it.
that, yeah, that was very much like, I took it very hard. So the decision to close the business, where it was hemorrhaging money. It was just one of the hardest things that I had to do. But I had to do it, because otherwise, like, I was going to destroy more, if I just tried to continue with it. So that was, but yeah, I think, in terms of a quiet moment where you think, okay, now what? I think that was where I said, okay, I really am going to need help here. And that was, I think, the biggest turning point for me, because a lot of people feel that resilience is being able to stand tall by yourself and to move forward. But resilience is really being able to say, help me. I need some
Yep.
help here. Yeah.
Yep. I
Yeah.
totally get it. I consider myself to be super resilient.
Yeah.
And that's also part because I've surrounded myself with an incredible support network, both
Yeah.
professionally and in my personal life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Resilience without a team.
Yeah.
Uh, no, I'm not going to swear. I have another analogy. So that you transform your failure into new beginning, shifting both your career and mindset. Okay, I got it. You already answered these questions. What role did career coaching play in helping you move forward? You had coaches?
Yes. It's so important. A coach cannot not have a coach. You have to have a coach to be a coach. Absolutely. Like Paul, so what that again, when I said, okay, look, I really need to get my head straight, because I actually don't know who I am anymore, what I'm doing, what am I going to do here? That was when I reached out to a career coach, because I was back in corporate, because I had to, needs must. And I was like, what am I doing? So reaching out to a career coach was saying, help me. I don't know what I'm doing. And that was where I understood the whole misalignment of values, and kind of really understanding my values and that connection piece. And that even though I thought that the impact was the virtual reality vision board, essentially the impact is my top value connection, and how I can create that impact one client at a time.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And it seems to me, did you have a did you have a crisis of self-trust? Did you think, wait a minute, I don't know how to think through good decisions? Or did you think, no, it's not that. It's just this the market, anyone, no matter how skilled, would have crashed and burned with this because no one could have foreseen that threat. You do a SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and
Yeah.
threats.
Yeah. Yeah. We did all of that, but again, like, who's going to give a crystal ball to tell you that the market is going to crash, or the market is going to change, or AI is going to out of nowhere? Like, no one can predict that, right? So, however, I did absolutely go, what the hell? How is it that I did not see that coming? Like, how is it that I did not have the wherewithal, or how is it that I didn't see it? But again, it's not about that. It's that was not my chosen path, and this is,
It's
and that's it.
I'm thinking of a coach who made a huge business out of selling text numbers. Hey, text to get your free report and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
then you know what came along that replaced texting? QR codes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure wrecked her business completely.
Or she adapted and just got QR codes.
No, no, her whole thing was about what I don't think that happened.
Text numbers.
I think
Okay.
she probably crashed and burned, which
Yeah.
her advice wound up screwing me over. So good on her.
Yeah.
Advice would you give to someone facing failure or a major career crossroads?
Advice facing failure or at a major career crossroads, I would say sometimes that is when you need to kind of circle back around and just almost take stock of what is going on at that present time. And again, stuff in the moment you feel is absolutely catastrophic and it's changing your life forever. Yes, absolutely it can be, but let's take stock of where you're at and what that looks like. And a lot of it is kind of mindset and saying, where am I right now? What am I going to do moving forward? And is this potentially something that could be the best thing that's ever happened to me?
Wow. That takes a lot of courage and a lot of faith and a lot of anchoring into something.
Yeah. And that's why a coach is needed, Paul. That is why a coach is needed.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I've had about three or four of those, but I
Yeah.
managed to come through. We're actually at the end of our time. Thank you for being so incredibly patient and understanding of my aged brain. How can my listeners and viewers and audience stay in touch with you? I know they're going to want to stay in the conversation with you.
They are very welcome to come and join me on YouTube. I have my YouTube channel, which is Coaching Corners with Jackie Carroll, or they can reach out to me via email, which is hello@jackiecarrollcoaching.com. And the Carroll is spelled Carroll. And Jackie, Jackie, if anyone is wondering.
All right, you've been a wonderful guest. Stay on for a little green room chat. Once again, we have disconnected the dots, colored outside the lines, thought outside the box, and remember to the hostile alien armada hovering in their cloaked spaceships just outside of Earth's atmosphere, eat the Canadians first. All right, we'll see you on the next episode.
The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Rapid Sales Accelerator. If you're ready to skyrocket your sales by 30% or more in just 90 days, then you need to claim your free training right now. You'll learn 4 words that will compel your prospects to trust you like they were children within the first 3 to 5 minutes of any conversation across any platform and any medium. You'll learn how to give your prospects objection amnesia, to crush objections like, I need to talk to my spouse, or I need more time to think it over, or it's too expensive. If you'd like to claim your free training now, go to www.paulrossbook.com. Do it before your competition does it now. Thank you for tuning in to the Influencer's Edge, where you get the latest breakthroughs, cutting-edge insights, tools, and techniques so you can leapfrog over the pack at sales, influence, and persuasion. Remember to visit our website at www.theinfluencersedge.com to enjoy even more great episodes like this one. We look forward to seeing you again on the Influencer's Edge Show.